We're live.
We're live. Okay, well, good morning. We'll call the meeting to order. As usual, the first item is approval of the agenda and order of business. I have no specific changes that I'm aware of. I don't know if anybody else does.
The only one that I'm aware of would be that public input from the Heritage Society, I think. Perhaps you have that.
Yeah, public input. Yeah, I knew that was on there, I guess.
Okay.
I have something now, and I just want to, well, it's just a request to send something to TIR.
Okay.
Okay, thanks.
Somebody want to approve it as amended then?
I'll move we approve the agenda.
Seconder?
Second.
Adela? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried. Okay, so public input. Dan, you were reading something apparently, or at least that's what I understood.
Jennifer is ready to.
Oh, she's going to read it?
Yep.
Okay.
We received a letter from Carol Noss on behalf of the Chester Municipal Heritage Society, and she writes, the Chester Heritage Society has applied for funding for the July 1st celebration from Heritage Canada, as well as the Queen's 7 decades of rule this year. The Heritage Society is beginning to plan for the possibility of the following celebrations. All of these are subject to COVID and what may or may not be able to occur. July 1st, garden party at the train station beginning at 4 o'clock. This will include other organizations throughout the municipality who wish to put in a booth or supply food. The money they raise will be available for the group to use as they see fit. Following this, we plan to have fireworks on the front harbor. We also will develop a sign to advertise any events being held on that day throughout the municipality. At this point, I have not contacted other areas regarding what they may be planning, but would hope that they would get in touch so that we may be able to include them on the sign. July 9th, Queen's Celebration. We plan to hold a formal tea in the park, gloves, teacups, hats, etc. The Chester Drama Society will provide fashions that will depict the 7 decades of the Queen's rule. On this day, we plan to present the plaque for the gazebo, honoring Daniel Hahn's dedication to the Chester Municipal Heritage Society, which our carpenter has promised to be first on his list this spring. We also will provide some of the important happenings throughout that time in the municipality or country. I am sure that you will be observing this important event at some point this year. July 16th, one other event we are planning is to hold a yard sale in the morning at the train station, open to nonprofit groups throughout the municipality. Our hope is to provide another opportunity for such groups to raise money. The Heritage Society at one point talked about holding both a tea and a garden party on the same day, but we do not have the numbers of workers to accomplish this. Should you wish to discuss any of these events or combine forces to make them happen, please feel free to talk with me. Many hands make lighter work. Yours truly, Carol Noss.
Yeah, she's always trying to plan something. It sounds like it's a good thing. I hope it works. Floyd will have to dig out her old costumes. You're on mute, so I can't hear.
I'm on mute, but yeah, I said, okay, I'm ready to go.
We wore them once a long time ago.
A long time ago, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you, Carol, and keep in touch, and we'll see how we can help each other. Okay, minutes of the previous meeting, December the 16th. That was a long time ago. Yeah. Any errors or omissions there?
I got a couple of things, Alan, that I want to clarify. Can you hear me?
Okay. I can hear you, yeah.
Just for clarification, just let me get my minutes in front of me.
Yeah.
On page 418.
Yeah.
Somewhere in that, it refers to the review.
Mm,
I just thought it should clarify that they're talking about the village plan review.
Review the process for, oh, no. What's that?
It says, one thought there is this council made the decision to proceed with amendments prior to the completion of the plan review.
Yeah,
And you think it should just indicate that it's the village plan review?
yeah, I think it's in the context of what it is, I think it needs to say that.
Okay, that's not a problem, I don't think.
No, these are just things for clarification because,
Yeah,
you know, it's on the record. On page 419, on line 2, it refers to responses to the land use survey. And I just wanted to clarify that's the land use bylaw survey.
okay,
And again, on page 419, in the second paragraph, when I asked the senior planner about the comment in the report and them having a dark past, I wanted to clarify that reference to dark past was not in the planner's report. It was in one of the letters from one of the Voctata members. And I just thought it was important to make sure that the planner wasn't the one who referred to the development agreements as having a dark past. That was a presentation.
yeah,
You can tell I read this over, Alan.
yeah,
I don't always look at it that closely, but I replayed the video last night just to make sure I got it right.
okay,
And then on page 421, line 5, and this was hard to pick up on the audio, and that's I understand, because I understand Pam wasn't at the meeting. She picked it up from the audio.
mhm,
Of the one big one in the room, what was said, the one elephant in the room is development agreements.
the one elephant in the room, okay. Pam, if you have any problem with this, you let me know. So far, it seems simple to me.
It is simple, but I think those clarifications are important for the record. That's all.
Okay, so that was it?
That's it.
Okay,
I could have had more, Alan, if you want, but
no, that's good.
I
I'm
know they're
happy.
only minutes. I know they're not a transcript. They're only minutes. That's why I just pick up those things.
Yeah.
Motion to
Hey,
approve
somebody to approve them as amended?
as amended, minutes as amended.
Seconder,
A second.
discussion? All those in favor? Opposed, motion is carried. I gotta keep track of the time here.
8:57.
Yeah, okay, now I just want to make sure I don't miss the appointments. Okay, so the public presentations don't take place yet, so we have 8.1, request from Carol Millett to recognize the anniversary of the exodus of Black loyalists from Nova Scotia, Sierra Leone. And I think everybody was sent out a proclamation that came from HRM. I don't know if you're all happy with that or if you're not, but it seemed reasonable and well done to me. So if, I don't know, if somebody wants to move that we proclaim it in the usual manner, using that as the format.
I'll move.
Seconder? Seconded by Andre. Discussion on the motion? All those in favor? Opposed, the motion is carried. Okay. Well, it's difficult to go to the major grants thing before we have the presentations, really.
Yep.
So we'll go to 9.2, request for decision prepared by Community Development and Recreation, new road name, Marabella Place, Chester. Is Sylvia joining us for that? Or-
I'm here. There's no issues with the name Mirabella. It's a unique road name in Nova Scotia. The property owner suggested it, and it's just off of Target Hill Road in Chester. It's to provide access to a new subdivision there.
Okay. Does anybody have any issues with that?
No.
A motion?
I so move.
Seconder? Discussion?
Second.
All those in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried. And we have another one, Sylvia. Creek Way,
That's-
Milko, Creekside
Yep.
Way.
That's right, Creekside Way, Mill Cove, just off of Highway 329. There's a new structure that will be placed there, and the shared private driveway will now provide access to 3 dwellings. The property owners are in agreement. They would like Creekside Way as their new private road name. And it's a unique name in Nova Scotia.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Yeah.
Motion to approve.
Seconder?
Second.
Seconded by Abdella. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion's carried. Well, I couldn't see you, Sylvia, but I could hear you, so thank
Okay.
you. Okay. Well, we're still early. So infrastructure and operations, Region 6 waste management budget. Who's speaking to that? Anybody in particular? It's pretty straightforward
It
anyway.
is fairly straightforward. I don't see Krista here, so this is our requirement for us for council to review and make a decision about the recommended budget for Region 6. We've identified the reasons for, I see Tim here actually. The financial implications, identified the reasons for the increase. That's noted in the report. I know that Councillor Vino is our representative on so staff would support the approval of this budget. Perhaps the councillor that represents us on Region 6 would like to add something to the discussion.
Okay, Andre? You're on. Okay,
Yep, no, I think I reported on this last council.
yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, there's some little changes, I guess. Percentage wise, it may seem like a big change, but in reality, the magnitude of change is, whatever, a few $1,000s, and it's our regulatory requirement to participate in this this group. So, it's been passed by the committee. I see it's pretty straightforward, I think, what's been provided. If there's any specific questions, I'll try my best to answer.
Does anybody have any questions before we move to a motion? Don't hear any. A motion to approve the budget? Moved. Seconded by Abdella. Discussion? All those in favor? Opposed? Motion is carried. Well, we might as well get right into 9.5, which is the fireworks. Andre, you brought that up.
Okay, yeah, so I had a request from a resident to table fireworks in council. So I think the concern is that specifically backyard fireworks are sometimes disruptive to people and animals. And I agreed to bring it here, and with no actual request, but maybe to start a conversation at council and feel out where other councillors might be on this issue. I think, it's a bit of a divisive issue because, there are those that, have maybe dogs or horses or whatever, and it can be a real issue for them, of course, because it frightens animals and wildlife and can be disruptive, especially if it's a surprise, like if it's just a Tuesday night in July. It can be a real a shock when suddenly there's explosions going off around your house. At the same time, it's been, I think people usually buy these things for celebratory purposes, and there's a reason why they're doing it most times. And, you know, you don't want to take people live in the country and they enjoy their freedoms. That's why we live here. So
Yeah.
I recognize, of course, that this is going to be a challenging issue to really think about. And, you know, I think there are specific dates that, you know, I think for sure we know that we would expect to see fireworks, you know, like Canada Day or maybe New Year's Eve or whatever. And I think even those who are opposed to fireworks could understand if they were if they were seeing them then. But I think it's the impromptu, like the spontaneous fireworks, you know, where you're just having a day off of work, like on August, and you decide
your birthday, whatever.
Yeah, and you're gonna pick them up, you know, at the convenience store on the way home, and shoot them off. You know, I think that's the challenge, and I think, you know, it's for discussion only. I'm not making any real serious proposals here, because I think it's we have to be thoughtful about this. But you know, maybe there's a way that you can have it all and still allow people. I think it's the preparedness is thing. You know, if you have animals, you want to take them away for a drive, or you know, try to, you know, deal with it in some way. So, you know, maybe on specific days, it would be sort of as of right. You know, if you want to purchase fireworks and fire them off, like on New Year's Eve or whatever. But, you know, maybe other days could be by permit or something like that, but maybe with a very low cost, like maybe almost nothing, but it'd give maybe the opportunity to notify the neighbors that this is going to take place, or I don't know. This is all for discussion. I'd like to hear the opinions of this wise council on this matter, and maybe we might want to, at the end of this discussion, ask staff to just see what other jurisdictions are doing, because I know it's not an issue that's unique to this area. So I'll just maybe let the floor go and hear what others have to say.
Abdallah, you have your hand up?
Yeah, yes, and I was going to, Andre and I spoke, and I was going to put it on the agenda, but Andre did. But yeah, and I echo exactly what Andre said. I did a little digging just to see how some of the other municipalities have dealt with it, and I know in Cumberland County, they included it in their noise bylaw. Well, that will not work, in my opinion. But I think, and it's a big issue. I know it is in my district. I've received, you know, they know that New Year's Eve and Canada Day, and in my area, especially in July, in the garden party, those are all dates that they know to take their animals away. As Andre said, it's and of course we can't just try to ban them. That's a provincial thing. But if we can, in some way, as Andre said, you know, I don't think that it's not that they're against the fireworks. It's just that if there was some kind of way that they would be notified, and as you say, it's just someone's not going to shoot them off, and we all probably have them in our district. And it's I don't know what we can do, but I think it's worth a discussion and worth it for staff to try to explore, maybe permit wise, or pick certain days that like New Year's and do it that way. I think this is some, you know, I brought this forward sometime probably a couple of years ago, and it was really not as big an issue, although it was. And if you have an animal, it's a big issue. So I'm in agreement about trying to have a discussion and move forward on it in some way that we can actually maybe make some change.
Yeah, I'll just comment, because I've talked to staff about it a little bit. You know, I don't see any problem with taking a look at what other bylaws other municipalities have. I think the biggest problem is how in the frig you ever enforce it, you know, really. But we have talked about if there's nothing else that we can do, at least we can do some public education around it, advising people of the necessity to advise their neighbors and things like that. I mean, it would be, people aren't all going to get permits. I know, I guarantee you they won't. and it'll still take place, and how you ever enforce it is beyond my comprehension. But take a look at what other municipalities are doing. They may have some creative way of doing it that I'm unaware of. But I think public education, if nothing else, is something that we can do. And I mean, at least you can let people know that this is an issue for some, and it would be really helpful if you advised your neighbors in advance that you were going to have a party and you were going to have fireworks so that they could be prepared for it. So I don't know if anybody else. Sharon?
Yeah, I'm all in favor of the public education part. I think, with this isolation, there were probably a lot more fireworks this year. Certainly, there was a record year in my neighborhood. Usually I hear one or two, but people are home, and, that was just one thing that they wanted to do. But, New Year's Eve, you're prepared for that. And I know there was a very unfortunate incident where a horse was spooked, that we probably all heard about it. Yeah. And this is probably one of the things why we're discussing it. But I think if we educate people, it would be so difficult to enforce it. I know that, I've been to camp and we've set off fireworks and there's no one within miles. Yeah. So you have to look at it in context. And I think maybe the education component to me would be a first step.
Well, it's a start. Yeah. Floyd?
And then my area is no different. We have a lot of fireworks, especially back around the lakes, and because there's all the beaches down here. But the noise carries like kilometers. It's not just your local areas. It's like they're heard on Fox Point Lake, and I can hear them in my house. But I had a question, I guess maybe when staff looks into it or whoever, don't you have to have a permit to set them off?
Large scale ones. Locally, our fire. To what scale though? I know the fire department are supposed to have insurance permits and all those types of issues, so they won't set them off. So I'm just wondering, are the rules that you have to have a permit anyway? For the large scale ones, like I know when I do them in Chester Basin, the fire department has to set them off, but we're talking large scale. For the little ones you buy in the grocery stores and stuff, you don't need permit.
Okay, I just wonder at what point do you need it?
I'm not 100% sure on what that scale is, but it certainly isn't the backyard ones.
Okay, yeah, because there's a lot of the backyard ones, a lot of them.
Yeah. Tina?
I think Sam was commenting maybe, but he was on mute, but so I don't know if he still wants to or not, to what Floyd was saying. Sam?
I can't hear you, Floyd, or
He's
Sam.
on mute.
Sam? You're still on mute. You got to press that unmute button.
Up top, push right up in the top and it'll come
We're
on.
out of practice.
Right up in the top right-hand corner.
Except on my computer, it's on the left
There you
hand.
better.
Yeah.
You're backwards.
Yeah. Okay.
I was gonna say, yeah, I don't know what the threshold is, but it must be fairly high because I've seen pretty substantial private fireworks going off. They look very much like the ones the fire department might be putting up by times.
Yeah.
So I think it's worthwhile looking into and see.
Well, that's what I mean. There's no harm in looking into it, but I mean, if nothing else, public education, because it'd be very, very difficult to control. Hey, Tina, you're back on.
Thank you. Thank you. So I guess I'd just probably be repeating what Councillors Vino and Asaph may have already said, I'm sure. But I'm definitely interested. I'm in full support of looking into this, diving deep, actually. Education is great. And we're going to continue to educate people about illegal dumping, but we see, right? I mean, again, so I think that education is crucial and it's an important piece of this, but there's got to be, hopefully, again, I know we have to look into it, but there's got to be something we can do. There's got to be. I mean, yes, I get that it's COVID and more people are doing this, but I mean, I've never seen the likes in terms of the times of day that they're going off and just kind of out of the blue that they're going off. So I know, again, I'm just being repetitive in terms of what others have said, but I have a real interest. I absolutely do. it may be difficult, but it doesn't mean that we don't do something, obviously. And I know that that's what this council has always done. You know, we take a look and so on. I also don't think that it's just going to be our municipal unit. I can only believe that this is going to be something on the agendas of many, many councils. I believe that. So maybe it's another time where we are, you know, coming up with something and somebody looks to us as an example of kind of how we've laid something out. So I'm absolutely all over this. So that's it.
Okay,
Thanks.
so we'll have staff take a look at what the options are. I mean, there may be a threshold at which you would require a permit. I get that part, but it's the people who go over and buy the $5 worth that's so besides and just shoot them off. I don't know how you'd ever deal with that.
Maybe it would restrict something to do with the times you set them off instead of 3 in the morning, maybe not past 10 in the evening or something like that.
Yeah. Anyway, so they can take a look at it, and Jennifer can take a look at some public education pieces, and we'll go from there. Okay. So I think we're at the 9:15 time frame for Angela Chisholm from World Sailing Championship.
They're coming into the meeting now.
Okay.
Morning, everyone.
Good morning. How are you?
Today? Are you all waiting for me?
We are.
Excellent.
We haven't been waiting long.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Well, I was like, nobody's speaking, so maybe they're waiting for me to start. Well, good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for having us here. I think, do I pull up the presentation on my end to share the screen?
I'll have to ask somebody else. I'm not into the technical part. Jennifer, what happens? Emily, do you know?
Yeah, that's the easiest thing to do, Alan, is to share. If you share it, Angela,
okay,
from your screen, you should be able to.
We all have paper copy. Well, I shouldn't say I have a paper copy.
Some people like paper.
I do. I'm one of them.
That's okay. All right, let me just share my screen here. Make sure I get the right one. Okay, so everybody should be seeing the presentation right now.
I can see it, yes.
Excellent, excellent. Great. And I've just lost all of you on the screen. It's always fun to present when I'm working on several screens here. But anyway, good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for having us on to present to council this morning. We really appreciate your time. So I think we have 15 minutes on the schedule today, and I'm going to try and get through this presentation as quickly as possible to share with you the 49er effects and NACRA 17 World Sailing Championships that are coming to St. Margaret's Bay this summer. I can now say that instead of saying next summer. So really excited to be here in 2022 and to be hosting this event. We also have, of course, with us today, the Hubbard Sailing Club. So I'm going to just start off with introductions. So how about John, you take it away to kick us off.
Thanks, Angela. My name's John Fleming, and I'm a board member of the Hubbard Sailing Club, and I'm also co-chair of the World Sailing Championships for next year. So I'm co-chair along with Bill Doan, who's also on this call. I've been a summer resident of Hubbard since I was a little kid and took sailing lessons there and taught sailing lessons at the old Hubbard Yacht Club, we used to call it. And been part of that club for, like I said, since I was a little kid, and my kids have all went through that and actually been instructors there as well at the Hubbard Sailing Club. So heavily involved and very excited to be here today presenting, helping to present, and also to be part of this exciting event for Lunenburg County and HRM. Thanks.
Big event.
Yeah.
Thanks, John. And over to Bill.
Good morning, everyone. Bill Doan here. I am co-chair of the 2022 World Championship along with John, and I'm the Commodore of the Hubbard Sailing Club. I've been in Hubbards for, well, my wife's family was was the first property they bought was on Johnson Road in Hubbard. So it's been a long time summer resident of Hubbard's. Very excited for this event. I think it's a great opportunity for the communities and something really special for the youth in the communities as well to experience Olympic sailing. So very excited about this.
Okay.
Excellent. Thank you, Bill. And I'm Angela Chisholm. I am the general manager for the event. I've had the pleasure of working with John and Bill over the past number of months and as we start to prepare for this event. And of course, these guys have been working on the event details and bid for almost 2 years now. So it's, you know, long time, a lot of work's been done on the front end. I personally resided in Hubbard's for 13 years, and I was a volunteer at the Hubbard Sailing Club, Hubbard's Yacht Club, actually, when we were the old facility prior to the new building. And then I was part of the infrastructure project, actually, when we put the new facility in place and opened in 2012. So we're actually celebrating 10 years this year. So I had the pleasure of working with Jack Fleming on that project and running the Learn to Sail program in Hubbard's because, of course, I had children that sailed in the program as well. And then my older son went on to coach and you know, big part of the community. I also owned a business in the community, and I'm really excited that we're hosting the World Championships in Hubbard's, and I'm so excited and privileged to be a part of this as well. So let's kick it off, everyone. Thanks so much for listening to our intros, but to share the vision with you for the World Championships really does represent a wonderful opportunity to celebrate high performance athletes and inspire our youth. You know, we want to inspire all those kids that we see running around the sailing clubs in Chester and in St. Margaret's Bay all summer long. And we want to further develop the next generation of skiff sailors and the national coaching team. So there are many ways in which we're working towards that with Sail Nova Scotia, with Sail Canada, from the national team level with Sail Canada to the provincial team level at Sail Nova Scotia, and then to the individual club levels as well. So lots of opportunities there to engage our youth at the same time. So the legacy really, our focus does remain on the legacy impact for the community. So there are some community infrastructure projects that are in play right now. At the Hubbard's Cove waterfront, the community waterfront, where actually the main event will be held. So that is where we're going to be hosting the teams, is at the community waterfront location. The Hubbard Sailing Club is also part of the infrastructure project because part of that venue will be used for, as you've seen in the presentation and as we'll get to as well, it will be used for a couple of areas.
Can I ask you a question, Angela? This is just my own lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
The Hubbard's Cove waterfront, is that where the sailing club is, or?
The sailing club itself is actually over on Highway 329. So it's
I know where it is. I'm just not sure how they differ.
Yeah, so the community waterfront is actually the marina. So that's where you see the sailing boats and stuff, and they are separate from the sailing club. So the sailing club is the junior Learn to Sail program, and then the community waterfront is a separate board and of directors and member organization.
Okay.
Yeah. Awesome.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, no problem. We're also doing a few upgrades at the St. Margaret's Sailing Club because the St. Margaret's Sailing Club is a partner in this event with us as well. Of course, they hosted the World Lasers in 2009 and also did some 49er national stuff, 49er and 49er Effects national team stuff in 2014. So they're very familiar, of course, with hosting world events. And we're happy to be partnering with them as well, as they're actually going to be hosting the teams that come in early for the event. So we're going to be working with them to kind of allow the team some time to train on St. Margaret's Bay water, but also keep them out of Hubbard so that we can be preparing the site for the World event as well. So great partner. So really from a sailing community development piece, you know, we are looking at establishing the legacy framework that's actually being established right now. To enhance performance sailing in Nova Scotia by really providing world-class training opportunities and support for the teams that come in and the coaches and the development. So really high performance development is the first part of that. And then the community development piece as well, where we're looking at purchasing some equipment for the event that will remain in the community of Hubbards at the Hubbard Sailing Club. Also a legacy fund, looking at the creation of the legacy fund that will be sustainable for future generations, to be hosting camps, development camps for not just the coaches, but also for the sailors. And then promoting that, of course, these sailing classes throughout Nova Scotia and building capacity within the sailing community here in Nova Scotia. So if you're not aware, there is a 49er effects team actually sailing. They reside in Chester, and they sail from the Chester Yacht Club and the Royal Nova Scotia Yacht Squadron. And they're actually on the development path for Paris 2024 Olympics right now. So we have locals who are also part of this, which is absolutely fabulous. So from an event overview standpoint, it is a 3-day warm-up regatta and a 9-day event. So, we're looking at a 2.5 kind of week period from mid-August to September 5th. These are 3 Olympic classes that are coming. So the 49er is a male double-handed. So there are two sailors in that boat. The 49er effects is the female double-handed. And then the NACRA 17 is actually a mixed team and a double hull. So it's like a catamaran style, and it has hydrofoils on it, which is the new thing in sailing. It's up and coming. So this is actually the first mixed crew in the Olympic sailing classes, which is amazing. So we actually have a split of male and female teams and participants coming for this event as well, which is fantastic to see. We are expecting about 200 boats, which is 400 sailors coming in with their support teams, with our volunteer teams, with the officials on the race courses. And we are looking at 3 to 5 race courses, really depending on the registration numbers that we receive. So there'll be a significant amount of people out on the bay. They do sail in 2 different time slots, which is great. So you're only going to see about 100 teams out there at a time. We are expecting competitors from 50 countries, which I broke down kind of the athletes and coaches that we're looking at, but we're looking at upwards of 1,000 people a day in the community for a 2.5 week period. So the economic impact, of course, from this, there was a steam projection done by the province for the municipality of Halifax. And they are looking at a 4.4 million economic impact for just the event alone. So that's not including the pre and post stuff. And I already know from a number of teams, they're coming in early to train, and they're going to be staying to visit and travel around the province at the same time.
Yeah.
So
Again, if I could just ask a question, what is the age group of the participants?
Average age is about 25. Like, there are some younger and there are some older, because there's juniors and seniors that are kind of mixed in here, but your average age is about 25.
Okay.
Yeah. Location, I don't need to, speaking to Chester Municipality Council, you all know the location of Hubbard's and St. Margaret's Bay, I hope.
Yeah.
But anyway, this is just a quick snapshot of where the events will be held. Of course, host city being Halifax, and our host venue in Hubbard's at the waterfront and the sailing club. So we're splitting across, of course, 2 municipalities at the same time, as you know, from where the line sits.
Yep.
The race area itself, St. Margaret's Bay, these are the race courses that are set out. And these are actually like a 2.8 kilometer diameter. So the St. Margaret's Bay really supports these classes of sailing because they need big race courses. They're fast boats that need a lot of room, between their marks. So St. Margaret's Bay fits that. Just a quick snapshot of the host country's overview. As you can see from where these teams have been traveling over the past number of years, this is their first time coming to Canada, and they're coming to Nova Scotia and they're coming to Hubbard's, which is amazing. So we're very excited about this. Of course, Canadian Sailing is very excited about this at the same time. So, this is a great impact and legacy for Canada as well with these classes. I'm not going to go through the schedule of events. You guys all have the information in front of you, but really we are looking from, August 1st to the Labor Day weekend in September, where a bunch of things are going to be happening in the community. But again, I won't go through any of those details. There are a few opportunities within the community from a business community standpoint, site vendor requirements, sponsorships for businesses to partner with us as well. Also opportunities for volunteering, for being part of the event, being part of the organizing team leading up to the event as well. So again, all of those details are there. I'm watching the time very closely. Also some opportunities to assist with equipment and accommodations in the areas. We aren't specifically in charge of accommodating the teams. They're very well versed in finding accommodations for themselves, but we are promoting accommodations in the local area from Airbnb perspectives and whatnot, from a site called Stability, which is actually an event-focused website. So it's kind of like an Airbnb, but it just focuses on the event for the World Championship. So it's a great opportunity for locals to put up their properties. Some people are leaving town for the 2 weeks and they're going to rent their house out.
They do that in Chester for race week.
Yeah, exactly. I understand. I can relate, that's for sure. And of course, we want people to be an event ambassador and help spread the word throughout the community. So hopefully this gives you guys some information that can assist with even yourselves doing that within the community. So I'm now going to hand it over to the Hubbard Sailing Club to just do a bit of an introduction for the club and the request as well. So over to Bill. Thanks so much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, Angela.
Thank you.
Thanks, Angela. I love talking about Hubbard Sailing Club. It's I think we're a very unique facility in Canada, that we are strictly a learn to sail facility. We don't have any adult membership. We don't have any adult sailors. I mean, we teach youth ages 6 to 16 sailing skills. Our motto is teaching life skills through sailing. This is where we bring a 6-year-old kid sailor, introduce them to a boat and give them the keys to the car, and then just set them out on the water and give them that confidence to get out there and do things. We are one of the largest program in Nova Scotia, one of the largest in Canada. We last year helped us meet that gap between operation costs and facilities. Right now we have a fairly small ramp. The gravel parking lot, we're going to need some more dockage in there as well. We have fairly limited docking. So again, 16 to 18 foot ribs that are going to be in Hubbard's Cove. So we need dockage space for those boats.
Yeah.
So I guess, long story short, while we're here this morning, we're asking for your endorsement to submit a major projects grant application this month.
Okay.
Sorry to rush through that, we're happy to answer any questions that you might have.
Yeah, I wonder if we can get the presentation off the screen so I can see everybody else, because I don't know.
Absolutely.
I don't know if they want to ask questions or not.
There we go. There we go.
I can't see them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like a great program. Floyd, I'll let you. I'm pretty sure you had something you want to say.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, first of all, I just want to thank you for that great presentation and bringing this to Hubbard. So I think it's a major opportunity for our homeless valley, and it's really exciting for the area. It's a worldwide event. I do have a couple questions, I guess, and I'm not worried about the time, so I hope you're not down. It's not a big issue. This is a big event, and it's exciting, I think. One of the questions I have is other funding for the project. I know I've heard different things, and maybe if you could just give us a little bit of an expansion on funding from other levels of government and whatever.
Absolutely. Thank you, Floyd. I'm actually going to hand that over to John. Okay. John's been a big part of the infrastructure funding. So John, you can speak to that.
Yeah, thanks, Angela. And that's a great question, Floyd. And we're very pleased to say that we've had strong support from all the levels of government. We had HRM has supported us on the infrastructure side as well as the event side, because we kind of have two budgets. We have the operations of the actual event, And then we have the infrastructure improvements that are necessary to host the event. Like Bill touched on what has to happen at the Hubbard Sailing Club. And those two buckets, we've had HRM support. We've had the province is just committed through Culture and Tourism Department, committed towards our infrastructure request, as well as Events Nova Scotia has participated provincially towards the operations. And we are also been dealing with the COA, and we're just on the final strokes of, we're just waiting for confirmation from ACOA, but it sounds like all things are pointing in the right direction. We did run into some issues with the elections in the last year from a provincial side and the federal side, kind of threw us for a bit of a loop on some things, but we're very lucky because we've had great uptake from all three levels, and even Develop Nova Scotia is participating and allowing us to use some of their infrastructure that they have for this event, and they'd offered some of their expertise. So we've had a lot of positives from all three levels of government. And, we're hoping the municipality, you guys would be able to participate as well. We've also just on that as well, we have a portion of our funding is coming from the private sector. And we've had incredible uptake on sponsorship of this event from local businesses, as well as some larger businesses that work across the province. So we're in I would say excellent shape. We're almost prepared to close our sponsorship already. So we've had great uptake, and we're really pleased where we're at right now. But to answer your question, yes, we've had participation from all levels, and a great assistance from everybody. Especially, I'll throw the province too, the Department of Transportation and Public Works. They've been a great assistance to us going through this process, because and I feel that the government is really, we're almost 2 years into this pandemic, and we got fingers crossed for this summer, but I said that last year. I can't believe we're in the boat we're in. However, I think they see this as a really kind of coming out party, that we feel we can host the world in a safe, world-class sailing area like St. Margaret's Bay. And the municipality of Chester, HRM, and the province are all will benefit from this for sure. But I think that's why the government, we're seeing so much positivity, because they really want to get on to some good news stories, and this is a good news story. So it was a little long answer there, Floyd, but we've got great participation so far.
Yeah, if I can just get some clarity on there, because basically your budget here is showing for the infrastructure work $119,000. So is any of that money you've received from other levels of government?
We have a total, that's a good question, Alan. And we've had our total infrastructure budget is 1.5 million.
Okay.
For everything. So what we've come approach you guys with is what's in the Lunenburg County side, which is the Hubbard Sailing Club portion. So we do have support on the waterfront side from the city, from HRM, and from the province. We don't have right now on that budget, that 119 ask. We don't have others participating in that. So that's just for clarification there. You're our request on that side. So we've had a lot of support, and the whole budget is 1.5, to be honest.
Okay. Yeah. I just want to get that straight.
Yeah, sure. And from just from an operational budget standpoint, we are at 1.4 for the operational budget, with the various levels of government coming in and supporting that as well. We're just waiting on our final federal request with Sport Canada, of course, as the organizing authority for the Canadian or the federal piece of things. And they're actually looking right now at splitting that over 2 fiscal years so that we can get our full request from them as well. So things are looking great with our funding.
Okay, thank you.
Can I ask a question?
Oh, sorry.
Just one more question. HRM How much has HRM contributed, if I'm allowed to know?
Yeah,
Or have they committed?
Yeah, and that's all public knowledge. We had a staff report that went to council back in August, and our request to them from an infrastructure side was 400,000.
Yeah.
And our request from an operations side was 100,000, I believe.
It was
And
100.
we
The original request, sorry, John, was 150.
Was 150. We received 100 from HRM for the operations side out of the 150, and they've committed the full 400,000 that we requested. So we were very pleased with that. It was a unanimous vote by council, and so that was we've received, or they've committed the 400. So we're very happy.
Yeah, so they've committed a total of 500 at this point.
Yeah, well, I'm pretty sure when we get talking that some of those questions may come up, and I just, what other partners are contributing. And I think it's important for us just to know how everyone else has bought into this and how big it really is. So thank you.
Yeah, Derek.
Presumably we'd get the copy of the full budget before we make a decision. I mean, I don't see a budget. I only see the ask. I don't see the big budget.
Yeah,
that's no problem. We can put that together, Angela. We can send
I mean, if that can be part of the application on our end.
Yep.
Yeah.
And to follow up on Floyd's question, how much have you had committed from the province?
From the province right now, and we're in the middle of the kind of the final fine strokes. So as of last week, our request to the province was 500 on the infrastructure, and it looks like they're going to come in at the 500. We don't have that officially, but we've had phone calls back and forth. We're kind of in the middle of just finalizing things, and we feel really good about getting the 500 from them towards the 1.5.
And they did come in, sorry, Derek, they did come in with 250,000 for the operational end of things.
Okay.
That's right.
Yeah. And that's already been secured with them. That came in last year. So that allowed us to start operating.
And what are your contingencies for COVID cancellation?
Yeah, so we're actually in the process of putting in place our COVID task force. I have been working with Sail Canada and the overarching kind of Sport Canada as well on the bigger plan. So kind of the risk mitigation plan. So that discussion, those discussions have been taking place since October of last year. So, our vision for what the event looked like 6 months ago might change, and we were well aware of that. But we're working on getting our mitigation plan in place and being able to provide that for Sport Canada as well as the province of Nova Scotia, and getting that in front of the health authority as well, and everybody who needs to be part of it within the next 3 months. So we are working on a very significant plan. We have actually documentation and support from the Cork Regatta that was hosted in Kingston last year, where they have thousands of participants in classes and stuff that come in for the big regatta, and just how they kind of set that up. So we actually are working with the team of people at Sail Canada that put that plan in place. There's not a lot of concern in terms of the event where we are outside. Sailing events over the past 2 years have not been canceled. I know Chester Race Week was in 2020, but 2021 they did operate. But the other regattas, Sail the Bay and stuff like that, have continued to operate. We are in a different cycle of COVID in the summertime, as well as we've seen from data over the past 2 years. So we're in a good position with the timing of the event, as well as the activity and the sport itself being outside. And just the teams are separated from one another on their boats. So yeah, we're well underway with the planning around that and the mitigation strategy.
Anyone else, any questions? Because we're well behind now in terms of our next appointment.
I do.
Yeah.
It's just, hello, everyone. Still on the finances, if you will. So I understand the provincial investment, as well as HRM. Can you maybe just talk a little bit more, and you may not know about Events Nova Scotia, or no, sorry, Develop Nova Scotia, I'm sorry, not Events, Develop Nova Scotia, and ACOA. I know you had already answered ACOA, so that's up in the air, I guess. But the provincial arm with Develop Nova Scotia, Events Nova Scotia, are they investing as well? Or that's included in the 500 from the province?
Yeah, I'll take that one, Angela. Thanks for the question, Tina. Yeah, Develop Nova Scotia can't actually fund direct because they're a provincial arm, but what they've offered is they have a lot of assets. And some of those assets are, they have these little wooden huts. They're down on the waterfront right now in Halifax, and they use those. They use them for the Evergreen Festival over the holidays, and you've probably seen them around. And they're used for retail outlets or coffee stands and all that sort of thing. So they've offered us those huts. They're gonna supply and bring them down, and we're gonna use those for vendors on site. We're not sure how many of those, but I think they have 14 available, and we're probably going to use 6 or 7 of them. So that's one thing that they've offered. They've also offered floating docks to go on the on the Hubbard's waterfront portion, where the marina that Bill was talking about in front of Hubbard's, outside of the Hubbard Sailing Club. They have various docks that they rent and use for different events around the province. So they're actually going to supply us with those and help us install and be a partner in that. So they're not technically, there's no money actually coming from Develop, but from the province. When you look at Events Nova Scotia, they put $250,000 towards the operating side. Which to get us going, which was awesome. So we've had, Develop has been fantastic, and we've been dealing with them for the last year. So it's been good.
Yeah, and we've also worked, I've been talking with Develop on another side of things around live streaming at the waterfront, not only in Halifax, but also in Lunenburg. And where they manage those wharfs, I mean, they would give that to us free of charge to, go in and do like live stream screens and stuff like that, to really promote and create that awareness for the event as well. And also they're connecting us with the charter boat operators from both Lunenburg and Halifax areas, Mahone Bay, who want to come in for the event as well, and have that charter opportunity. So they've been a great support. They've brought some consultants in to advise us on some infrastructure stuff with technology. So they've been a great support.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else?
I got another couple of questions, Alan, if I may. This is our only kick at the can, I take it. You're talking.
Oh no, we'll be talking about this again. We won't be making.
But not with Angela and others.
Oh, no.
You talked about injection of money into the local economy. That mostly I would expect would be the Halifax economy. What about long-term benefits to Hubbard's? So I'd like to hear more about how we see, because this is a 10-day event, and then, it's a lot of money for 10 days. There's got to be some lasting benefit, and I really, to fund a private club, I would have to see what the long-term benefits might be.
Yeah,
I can take that if you want, Angela.
Yeah, absolutely.
I hope you would answer
that. So a lot of the infrastructure will be at the Hubbard's community waterfront. So I mean that's a public space that be long-term use for the community.
Where was that, Bill, again? Where was that?
The Hubbard's community waterfront. So that's right in Hubbard's Cove where the marina is. There's a large grass area there with. Is
that in Halifax County or Chester County?
That's in Halifax County.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
That's what I'm trying to clarify, right? Where are the benefits to Hubbard's here?
Yeah.
Lunenburg County Hubbard's.
So the long term, again, this is for the youth. So we're hoping to inspire the youth to continue sailing and to reach for high performance, athletes to continue their sailing. It's also the, once this infrastructure is in place, St. Margaret's Bay, Nova Scotia, Chester, anybody who's been out in the water knows that we have some of the best sailing areas in the world. And, we fully expect that this will not be the last event that comes to Nova Scotia. Our long-term vision is that, every 2 to 3 years that there will be a large event coming to Nova Scotia and benefiting the community. We've got hotels, immediate benefit. We have hotel blocks in place right now from Oak Island through to Halifax. So pretty much any facility that, that could be blocked, we've blocked those rooms. So there will be significant economic benefit throughout both municipalities.
Also, just to add to that, from a legacy committee standpoint, I do sit on clearly all of the committees, but the legacy committee itself are developing the framework for the development camp. So this development camp is something that would be hosted annually each year in St. Margaret's Bay, and that would be at the Hubbard Sailing Club. So that, some of that infrastructure cost, or some of the legacy stuff that we're doing, is we are actually buying a couple of ribs, so a couple of coach boats that will remain at the Hubbard Sailing Club from a legacy standpoint. But then when the coaching team comes in, the national coaching team and the provincial coaching team come in, they will be using that equipment and they will be sailing from the Hubbard Sailing Club. So that will be generating, some economic benefit and spin-off as well, for a 10-day period with teams from across Canada, provincially, and then also bringing in some international teams to further the coach development as well for our Canadian sailing team. So, there's some great legacy piece there, and the Hubbard Sailing Club would be the facility being used for that, not the community waterfront itself, because we have the infrastructure at the sailing club.
And I think from that legacy point of view, and just to add on, as I mentioned, we operate, not for profit at a break-even point of view, and with rising costs of infrastructure, i.e., coach boats and sailboats, etc., it's becoming increasingly difficult to keep our programming fees as low as possible. This is a big boost for the club itself, and is basically setting us up so that we can remain cost neutral. Not increase our programming costs for the next 5 or 6 years.
Yeah.
Eric, anything further?
No, I thank you for your time, guys, and thanks for the presentations.
Absolutely. If there are any further questions, we're happy to jump on another meeting or whatnot with you guys. And I know, Floyd, I'm sure I'll be hearing from you as well, with any questions that come up. But again, thank you all so much for your time this morning. We greatly appreciate it. We appreciate you taking us over your allotted time as well. We know it's a big event, and we're looking forward to working with you as well.
Hey, thank you very much. It's a very exciting project, and I know you've put a lot of time and effort in it, and you're not finished yet. So you'll hear from us, either from staff or else we'll ask you back. Okay.
Thank you very much, Gordon. Okay. Yeah. Bye-bye.
Thanks,
thank
everybody.
you.
People, we're going to take 5 minutes before we do the next presentation.
Yeah.